Good morning. Thank you for joining today's daily webinar where we discuss your questions live on the stream. We also cover certain topics. Today's topic is solo 401k Roth conversion opportunity during stock market volatility. As always, today's webinar is for educational purposes. We are not recommending and or selling investments, nor are we providing tax or legal advice. Please also like this video and share it with other solopreneurs, entrepreneurs like yourself, as it helps to get the word out regarding the solo 401k plan, as many in the industry are not aware of it, and many possible self-employed individuals out there are not aware of it either. So it's good to spread the news, the information. Okay, let me share my screen here and we will get started. Give me one moment here, please. Okay, again, so today we're going to go over the solo 401k Roth conversion opportunity during market volatility. So obviously the stock market has been down this year. It's rebounded somewhat here in the last week or two, but it could be a very tumultuous year in the stock market this year, and many of our clients invest their solo 401k plan in equities. So their portfolio could very well be upside down right now, which is obviously terrible, but it might be a good time to make lemonade by processing an in-plan conversion of pre-tax solo 401k funds to the Roth solo 401k plan. So when you process a conversion, it doesn't have to be in the form of cash. It can be in the form of an asset. So on today's webinar, we're honing in on equities. In future webinars, we'll talk about converting other assets like real estate, even cryptocurrencies, as an in-kind conversion over to the Roth Solo 401k plan. But again, today, let's just hone in on converting equities, such as stocks or index funds or exchange traded funds, any form of equity for that matter. So by processing a conversion of those equities now when the market is in the dumps, so if you have stock held in the pre-tax solo 401k plan or other equities, those can be converted in kind. That's referred to as an in-kind conversion when you convert an equity from the pre-tax solo 401k plan to the Roth solo 401k plan. And since you would be converting those pre-tax solo 401k owned stocks, aka equities, to the Roth solo 401k plan, that's going to be done at a lower market value, which means that when those investments start to turn around, so they go up in value, that increase in value will be will occur inside the Roth Solo 401k plan because you will have converted those equities to the Roth Solo 401k holding account. Now, from a future planning perspective, unlike pre-tax solo 401k funds, Roth Solo 401k funds are not subject to require minimum distributions. That did not used to be the case, but with regulation that was passed the last 3, 4, 5 years, Roth Solo 401k funds are no longer subject to require minimum distributions. So this will alleviate having to plan for the increase of future tax rates because, as I mentioned, not only do require minimum distributions not apply, but if you do need to take a distribution from the Roth Solo 401k for any other reason, those will also be tax-free as long as it's done under a qualified Roth Solo 401k distribution event. So those are other reasons why we find that many of our clients will process conversions of pre-tax funds to the Roth Solo 401k, whether it's during a up market year or a down market year like we're experiencing now. Now, an important item to understand is that it's once you process that conversion, that in-plan conversion from the pre-tax solo 401k to the Roth Solo 401k, that's a permanent event, meaning that you cannot change your mind. You're not going to be able to recharacterize and say, well, I'm going to change my mind and I want to go back to the pre-tax solo 401k from the Roth Solo 401k. So that's not a available option under the regulations, and you can learn more about that by looking at the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, having an acronym of TCJA for more information on that no do-over regulation. Now, just like when you process a conversion of liquid funds to the Roth Solo 401k from the pre-tax Solo 401k, where Form 1099-R reporting is required with the government to report that conversion, the same is true when you convert an equity. So that's an in-kind conversion when you convert an equity holding from the pre-tax solo 401k to the Roth Solo 401k. That's going to trigger Form 1099-R reporting because that's a taxable event. So when you convert pre-tax funds to the Roth Solo 401k, that's always going to be a taxable event, whether it's liquid cash or securities being converted. So it's going to be, so federal taxes will apply and possibly state taxes depending on your state of residence. Now, another important item to understand is that the taxes due on that conversion, those are not paid with funds from the solo 401k plan. Instead, you pay those taxes with personal funds. And you're going to need to pay the taxes due on that conversion by the time you file your personal tax return. That's Form 1040 tax return. So keep that in mind, that the taxes due on that conversion are not paid with solo 401k funds, but rather with personal funds. And that's paid by the time you file your personal Form 1040 tax return. Now, whether or not you should convert from the pre-tax solo 401k to the Roth Solo 401k depends on your financial situation. For example, if you are in need of funds this year or in future years, and you're not going to have the available funds to pay the taxes due on that conversion when you file your taxes next year, because again, you got to pay that tax with personal funds, then you may not be able to pay those taxes. So that may be a reason not to process a conversion. Or if you think you're going to be in a lower tax bracket when you retire later on, which, I mean, it seems highly unlikely. So those are some items to consider whether or not you should do an in-plan conversion of pre-tax solo 401k funds or equities to the Roth solo 401k plan. Now, another opportunity for a conversion during market volatility is, let's say you have a traditional IRA over at E-Trade or Schwab, Vanguard, Fidelity, or any other financial institution for that matter. And let's further assume that IRA, traditional IRA, so pre-tax IRA, holds equities. Well, you could transfer those equities in kind, so that IRA can be transferred in kind as a direct rollover to the solo 401k plan. And then you can subsequently process an in-plan conversion of those pre-tax solo 401k funds to the Roth solo 401k. So those equities can then be converted inside that pre-tax solo 401k to the Roth solo 401k. I know we have many clients that transfer their IRAs that hold equities in kind over to the solo 401k, because the solo 401k that we provide does allow for pre-tax solo 401k funds as well as equities and alternative investments. So again, let's say you hold Nvidia or Apple or Amazon or any of those significant or any of those magnificent seven stocks in your IRA, your pre-tax IRA, which are likely down in value now. You could transfer those securities in kind to the pre-tax solo 401k plan and then process an in-plan conversion from the pre-tax solo 401k plan of those equities to the Roth solo 401k plan. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to process the IRA conversion to the Roth IRA and then transfer that Roth IRA to the solo 401k, because the Roth IRA regulations do not allow for the transfer of Roth IRAs to a Roth solo 401k plan. In the future, maybe Congress will change that regulation. There was talk in prior years of changing that, but it looks like that was put to rest. But hopefully they'll uh, look at that again in the future. Okay, now let's go back again regarding the reporting that applies when you process an in-plan conversion of pre-tax solo 401k equities or funds to the Roth solo 401k plan. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a separate brokerage account already opened under the solo 401k plan to hold those Roth solo 401k equities or funds when you go to process the conversion, because you are required to separately track the various solo 401k sources inside that plan. So that's number one, is you're going to want to make sure that you have a separate a separate brokerage account established under the plan to hold those Roth solo 401k equities. Let me show you an example here. Give me a moment here while I pull that up here. See if I can locate the graph I want to share with you here. I could not locate it on some. Let's see here. Just bear with me, please. Okay, so when I refer to separate brokerage accounts, so for example, if you have pre-tax funds in the plan, which is what we're talking about today, converting equities held in a pre-tax solo 401k to the Roth solo 401k, those are held in a brokerage account in the name of the plan. So that's the pre-tax bucket. When you go to convert those pre-tax funds, they need to be converted to a separate brokerage account in the name of the solo 401k plan. So the Roth solo 401k bucket. So if you don't already have a brokerage account in the name of the solo 401k to hold those Roth solo 401k funds, we can assist you in opening up that separate brokerage account to hold those Roth solo 401k equities so that you can process that conversion. Because you are required to have separate holding accounts under the plan for each source of funds. So that's number one. Number two, you need to make sure that you then move those securities. It's actually number three, that you then move those securities from that pre-tax that are held in that pre-tax solo 401k funds over to that Roth solo 401k brokerage account. And you want to make sure that's done in kind. So make sure the brokerage firm does not liquidate those positions before you process that conversion, because again, the goal here is to convert those securities at a low market value so that when they do go up in value, they're going to grow tax free inside our Roth Solo 401k plan. Now, many of our clients will use Fidelity and Schwab to hold those funds. You can call Fidelity and Schwab and ask them to process that in-plan conversion over the phone so that those securities get moved over in kind. You can also submit a form directive to Fidelity or Schwab, for example. Let me provide an example here. Give me a moment here and I'll pull that up here. Okay, let me share this with you here. So here, this is the form that you can submit to Fidelity if you want to ask them to process an in-plan conversion for a solo 401k plan that you have through my solo 401k financial, for example. Let me so the form looks like this. Go back here and share that with you. Where is it at here? I think I have too many darn windows opened up here. Well, nonetheless, the form there's a link to the form right here. So take a look at that form, but that's another way to process the end plan conversion is by submitting a form directive to Fidelity. If you're using Fidelity to hold the funds, for example. And here's what that form looks like. Even though it's labeled one-time withdrawal, it's not a withdrawal, but that's just how Fidelity labels the form, and they have information on here. But down here is where you would mark off that you want to have securities converted. So you would check off shares in kind, and you would list the security symbol here. And then down here, you would check this box 3A to have them deposited to your Roth Solo 401k brokerage account. You would list the name here of the security or the mutual fund. So again, take a look at that, but you can also request Fidelity to process that in-plan conversion of securities by giving them a phone call. You don't have to fill out this form. And it's a similar process with Schwab. Okay, let's keep moving on here. So again, please like this video as it helps to get the word out to other solopreneurs, entrepreneurs like yourself. Now, for clients of my solo 401k financial, we will process the reporting of that conversion to the IRS by issuing Form 1099-R. Because again, that conversion is reportable. So as long as you complete our in-plan conversion form on our website, we will go ahead and issue that Form 1099-R. And that Form 1099-R for any conversions processed here in 2025 will be issued in January, February of 2026. A copy gets filed electronically with the IRS, and then we also provide you with a copy to file with your personal Form 1040 tax return. And here is the form here that you would fill out so that we collect the necessary information to issue that Form 1099-R to the government. See if I can pull that up here. So here's the form here. It's an online form. It takes you no more than a few minutes to fill out. You'll want to fill that out after you've processed that conversion so you know the market value of that conversion. You would fill this out and electronically, and then we'll issue that 1099-R. So as long as you timely request that, we'll issue that for you, because keep in mind, we don't have access to our clients' funds by design. Okay, so let's take a look at a few questions here. And again, thank you for joining today's daily webinar, and feel free to shoot over your questions. We'll be live again tomorrow. We'll be live again tomorrow a couple times, once at 10 a.m. and a second time at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So we've got a question here. I thought today was a Q&A session. Yes, today is a Q&A session. That's exactly right. And we also cover important topics on a daily basis, which is what we're doing now as well. And we do this on a daily basis. So feel free to join again tomorrow, and thank you for your participation. I have a question filed in Form 5500 Easy. Prior to 2024, I had another provider's plan document and filed it myself. For 2024, I converted to your plan documents. And my 5500 Easy, do I fill out your form for first time filer? Is this my first time with my solo 401k? Great question. So no, you will not check off the first filer box, because when you restated your plan from your prior provider to the new provider being our company, that does not mean that you closed your plan. That simply means that you changed providers. Therefore, you need to make sure that you do not check that box that details that you're closing the plan, because you're not closing the plan, nor did you close the plan. You also want to make sure you provide the proper information for our plan on page 2, down in the last section where they ask about the new plan information. Now, keep in mind, this is a free service we provide to our clients. That is, we'll file the Form 5500 Easy electronically for our clients who timely request the preparation of that Form 5500 Easy. And we can do that for you by filing it electronically with the government. So if you would like us to help you file that electronically with the government for you and prepare it for you as well, go ahead and submit a support ticket, and we'll send you the information we need to collect so that we can prepare that Form 5500 Easy for you, and then file it electronically with the government, so you don't have to print it and mail it to the IRS. We can handle that for you by filing it electronically. Great question. Okay, I just sent over a link to that support ticket where you can submit a support ticket if you would like assistance in having us both prepare and file that 5500 Easy for you. All right. Got another question here from an existing client. Looking for the process to close the account. I've had an inactive business for several years and the entity no longer exists. Yes, if you are no longer self-employed, then the plan can be closed down. You're gonna have options whether you want to transfer it to an IRA, to a full-time employer plan, or take a taxable distribution. Go ahead and submit a support ticket letting us know that you want to close the plan, and we will shepherd you in formally closing that plan with the government, which is going to require filing a Form 5500 easy to formally close the plan with the government, as well as a Form 1099-R. And let me send over another page from our website that also talks about when a solo 401k plan needs to be closed down, which is generally when you're no longer self-employed, or if you hire any full-time W-2 employees or part-time employees that meet certain eligibility requirements. Give me a moment here and I'll pull that up here and I'll share that link as well. Here it is. This is a great page titled, When Do I Need to Close My Self-Directed Solo 401k Plan? Take a look at that link there. It gives you some great information. And again, submit a support ticket. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining today's daily webinar. Again, we'll be back here again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Until then, have a great rest of the day.